Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on Joy Asonye Live. It's wonderful to know that you're right there. Apologies for starting slightly low. We have so much going on. Well, we are going straight to the matter at hand. So much is unraveling in Rivers State. It started with the burning or the fire incident that happened in Rivers State State Assembly complex, to the defection of about 27 lawmakers in the State Assembly who decided to jump ship and defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. That has also elicited several mixed reactions from Nigerians. Should they be left to continue or not? We've also seen the demolition of the complex entirely. That's the demolition of the State Assembly complex entirely due to, according to the government, structural defect after that fire incident. It's been very interesting going on. We just saw an update recently of a convening of the other one part of the assembly, the defected members of the State House of Assembly also convening and having their own plenary session. How that is going to be, we still do not know. How lawyers will eventually interpret this. We've seen and heard different records or different interpretations of that. We've also seen so much going on. That's what we'll be discussing. We'll go for a very short break right now. When we return, we'll unbundle these stories one after the other, the implications on the Rivers people. We would also look at what it portends for this impeachment plot of Sim Fubara, the governor of the state. Would it see the light of day? Well, it promises to be interesting, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back from that very short break. Like I told you, so much is happening in Rivers State. To top it all, we just got news that the Rivers State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Zacchaeus Adango, has resigned. Well, we'll get into all of that. What's happening? What's unfolding? Is this good for our democracy? We'll be getting into that conversation right now. And in the studio to discuss all of that is A.K. Peters. Some of you already recognize him. He's a regular analyst on the program. Thank you so much for making it to the show this evening.
Thank you, Joy. I'm happy to be here.
How is the removal of fuel subsidy treating you? I guess that's how we ask questions these days.
Let's leave that for another day.
I know, but let's move straight to Rivers State. So much is happening there. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, what are your thoughts? Is this what you had anticipated at the beginning of this administration?
Yeah, I saw it coming. I knew it would happen. I predicted it very well, almost exactly the way it is turning out, but that it came a bit too early, earlier than we expected. But that it would have come, we knew it would come.
What gave you those this kind of
the antecedents of godfathers and godsons fighting have always been there. We have seen it in every administration. We saw it in Enugu State. We saw it in Anambra State. We saw it recently in Edo State. We have seen it in almost every state. So, we knew it would happen. In the case of Rivers, the situation was that in the build-up to the 2023 general elections, the then governor of the state, His Excellency Asonye, bought forms for everybody in Rivers State who wanted to contest election under the platform of the People's Democratic Party. So much so that the only person who dared to go on his own to buy a form, a nomination form from the PDP, Father Dagogo, was arrested, beaten up, blue-black, and incarcerated for about 2 months for daring to go and procure a form by himself on his own with his own funds.
Was that the reason he was incarcerated? There were other charges laid upon him, but let's move away from that. Yeah, this may be the undertone to that political move, but what does that pertain for our democracy? And we are seeing all that is unfolding at the moment right now. It's the Rivers people are indeed suffering. We have seen the collapse, or rather demolition, of the complex, which according to the government is due to structural defect following the fire incident that happened some time ago. The whole fire incident in the first place is also suspect. So what are your thoughts as to where we are in our democracy, if we can watch this unfold?
For me, this is a great leap forward. It portends well for our democracy going forward tomorrow, because the Egyptians we see today, very soon we will see them no more.
The Egyptians you see, you
very
cannot,
soon,
AK Peters, you know, on my program you don't speak in parables. You have to be as explicit as you possibly can.
Nothing lasts forever.
Exactly.
No empire has remained forever. I foresee too that even the American empire that seemed to rule the world today will one day collapse. If the British Empire could collapse, the Roman empires will collapse, the Ottoman Empire will collapse, and all the other empires and kingdoms that held sway hitherto in days past in history have collapsed. These too will not last forever. But as I said, it portends very well for our democracy. The reason is that Godfatherism will soon be a thing of the past. At all times, God's sons would want to assert themselves. The powers of a governor are like the powers of a president in a country.
Right.
After one who has power of life and death, one who has powers of prerogative of mercy, one who signs a death warrant and someone dies. You do not think that when you leave office and you have wielded such enormity of power, you will, after leaving office, still be respected as you used to be respected, or feared as you used to be feared. For former Governor Wike, now Honorable Minister Wike, the game is almost up. I do not think that he will win this at the end of the day.
Exactly. However, I'm seeing the ethnic connotations to all that is going on. The Ijaw people are saying we've not had a governor for
that is correct, because for the past 24 years, Rivers is divided into two, upland and island.
Right.
And for the past 24 years, all the 5 governors have come from the upland. Governor Peter Odili, Governor Sir Celestine Omeha, Governor Rotimi Amechi, Governor Nyesom Wike, all the past 4 governors have come from upland. And this was the first time power was going back to the island. And that was why elder statesman Edwin Clark cried foul. And that, oh, it was a flash in the pan. They only wanted it to look as if they were giving power, rotating power to the island and take it back through the back door. Asari Dokubo came out yesterday also to say the same thing. That may not be actually correct. But the correct thing here is that there is this friction between the Godfather and the Godson. And the Godfather wants it all, wants to have everything the way he wants it, when he wants it, how he wants it, where he wants it, and to whom he wants it. Don't forget that, and I think the current governor is licking his wounds, that they revoked the premises and properties of AIT.
Exactly.
And reallocated and did all of that. He was not doing that because he wanted to do that. He has come to a point where he believes that I cannot always fight the fight of my predecessor. Let me not inherit enemies. Let me see how I can make right the wrongs of the past. And then
do you think
that
that's what's causing this rift?
You see, just like you said, the Attorney General has just resigned. The members of the House of Assembly whose seats have been declared vacancy, rightly anyway.
Rightly in your word. We'll get into that.
Are also going to lick their wounds. Because when it happened in Edo State, and the majority of the assembly members who moved with Adams Oshomole to Abuja, as the Rivers 25 or 27, as the case may be, we are still not too sure, may end up remaining Abuja based and may never be able to go back to Port Harcourt.
May never?
Because a new sheriff has asserted himself in town. And
when you say may never return to Port Harcourt, you mean to sit back?
Not in the capacity in which they left Port Harcourt.
What do you think informed that movement? Because according to the constitution, they have the constitutional right to move if the party is fragmented. In their defense, what they justified it to be is that indeed in the state, the party is fragmented. There's a Wike camp and a Sim camp, unfortunately. However, you think that's not justification enough?
When you talk about factionalization in the party, you look at the national hierarchy of the party is intact. You look at the state executive of the party, it is equally intact. If there is a Wike camp, I do not know. If there is a Fubara camp, I do not know. I know there used to be one camp wherein all of them belonged. And we have not seen them come to say, I am for Paul or I am for Apollos. They have always said, I am for Christ. That means I am for PDP.
Right. And what do you think informed that movement? A lot of people have said, in fact, one of the
they are all proteges of former Governor Nyesom Wike.
But it doesn't matter. You can be a protege and then continue to do your work. What do you think is informing, first of all, this?
Not under a general like Wike.
Right. So Wike, as you call him, the general would have wanted them to defect. Is that it? Because Wike himself has not mentioned his defection. He's still a strong member of the PDP as we speak. He has not changed his political party at this moment. So what would have informed the movement if they are indeed proteges of Wike?
If you are a Christian and a student of the Bible,
that I am,
you will be conversant with the story of the voice of Esau, the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob. That's exactly what's playing out here.
Right. And so were they properly informed or advised?
They were ill advised.
That's what your thoughts
are?
They
wouldn't have left. But you see, it was also a strategy. I'm a political strategist. And as far back as 2003, I authored a book titled co-authored a book titled Strategy and the Laws of Winning. It was a strategy, and the strategy was to pull the rock off the feet of His Excellency Sim Fubara. But it's like it backfired, it boomeranged. And it is because the thing has boomeranged, that's why we are discussing this. Otherwise, if they had succeeded in holding or sitting in the assembly complex, if they had succeeded in having the mace and then impeaching the governor, we will not be discussing what we are discussing today. We would have been referring to Fubara as a former governor, impeached governor.
Even hypothetically speaking, even this strategy, how would it have worked? Because the whole matter was in court, and I know there was a court verdict that said they should hold on all proceedings. So what strategy would this have culminated to?
And are you sure they would not have compromised the court and be sure of what the court would have said? These days, we don't trust the Nigerian courts any longer. Now,
I'm talking about political strategy. What strategy is it? Because Nigerians are looking at the demolition of the assembly complex and saying this is probably a strategy. Those are speculations. I'm just here.
And the strategy of demolition, the strategy of demolition is that the governor was to be impeached. And those assembly members would have gone there and sat and passed a resolution for impeachment. The strategy is also born out of the fact that the governor decided to demolish that building, which is just about 18 years old or 19 years old, so to say, so that they will relocate officially the assembly complex or chambers to the government house, Moscow Road, Port Harcourt. And having done that, the governor also needed to present the appropriation bill to the House of Assembly. And he didn't have time any longer. So he needed to do that also very expeditiously.
Right.
And he needed the Assembly to do that. And first of all, they got the High Court of Rivers State to affirm this other man here as the authentic speaker of the State House of Assembly. And then, with that, the governor now needed to move fast to present the budget. And for the governor to also do his own, he needed also to assert himself. And that was why, in politics, you have to be ruthless. If you hit me and I fall down, and you allow me
stand up.
I will hit you in such a way that when you fall down, you will not be able to stand up.
Do you think that's what has happened?
That's exactly what is trying to play out now.
But a lot of people have also criticized the fact that he presented this $800 billion budget to just 4 lawmakers in constitutionally. Do you think that will hold water?
Your question is neither here nor there, but let me explain something.
That's
in the eye of the law, as it is now, the 27 lawmakers, or 25 as the case is, are no longer members of Rivers State House of Assembly. Almost automatically, by virtue of their defection, they lose their seats.
Right.
Now, it means the assembly is left with what? Those few, or that few number of persons. That is the composition or constitution of the Rivers State House of Assembly as it is today. So it means it was a full house. It was a full house.
But this was done. Well, it's very funny because I'm not sure these people will go down without a fight. I mean, the 25 that defected.
I do not expect them to go down without a fight.
We just also read,
and Matthew, they have not gone down yet.
Well, they haven't gone down yet. However, they just also had their plenary recently, a couple of hours back. They convened and had a plenary session.
I heard so.
Yes. So, do you what is the way forward in all of this? It seems like, in spite of their colleague declaring them their seats vacant, they are still holding plenary. Would they be able to make way with their part of it, their faction? I'm not sure how best to describe it.
You know, everything now politically ends up in court. These two will go to the court, and we are watching to see how it turns out in court. But the truth is that it is very, very unfortunate. The governor is fighting dirty. Governor Wike is fighting dirty. And when two elephants fight,
the grass
who suffers? The grass. And who is or are the grass in this case? The Rivers people.
We've also been hearing calls that the president should intervene. The president should intervene. This is also on the backdrop of Nigerians still saying that the president enjoys too much powers. The federal enjoys too much powers. Where are you in this? Do you think the president should intervene in the crisis, the Rivers State the debacle?
I strongly believe that the president should intervene.
In the
next few months. In the next few weeks or few months, the Supreme Court will be delivering judgment on very critical state governorship election cases. Zamfara, Kaduna, Ogun, Plateau, Nasarawa, Kano, and so many others. And we do not want a situation where the country will be heated up, the politics will be heated up. And in this Hamatan season, people will come and ignite a fire across Nigeria when we are having it already tough in the northeast and in the northwest and even in the north central. And all of these are happening again. The south, the Niger Delta, in the last 8 years has been the safest part of Nigeria, the most peaceful part of Nigeria, the most calm part of Nigeria. We do not want this thing to stir up crisis in the Niger Delta. And of course, you know, when crisis is stirred up in the Niger Delta, it means it will affect the economy of Nigeria very gravely.
It will affect the economy of Nigeria, and you believe that the president should intervene. To what extent should the president intervene? We're already seeing what is unfolding in Rivers State.
Mr. President is the father of the nation. Everybody respects him a lot. We expect that the president should step in now without delay. After the initial issue, you discovered that, you recall, the president invited both of them. They came to the State House, and it was then that they both shared their thoughts when the governor had to make this popular statement that it was a fight between father and son. And you know, the PDP has always had this popular saying too, that it's a family affair.
It's a family affair.
But it's no longer a family affair now.
Exactly.
And we really want the father of the nation, Mr. President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to step in.
Okay.
Not to step in to take sides, but to step in to calm the situation.
What would you have the president do exactly? I mean, if you were the president right now, what would you have the president do? I mean, we're already seeing
political solution.
What would
the
that?
best
what
solution to
like?
this would be political solution, and it is only a political solution that will lead to a no victor, a no vanquish situation. Otherwise, everybody is fighting to finish. Recall that His Excellency Asonye had said that he will not sit down and allow someone take over his political structures. What makes a politician is his structures.
Right.
And this man wants to inherit the structure.
As it should be.
And what enabled him build the structure was the deep pocket of River State. Another person is controlling that treasury now, is controlling that coffers now. And he too can pay and dole out in superlative sums to those people that need to receive the money and gain loyalty. That's just what is playing out.
That's just what is playing out. But how do we see this sanity in a democracy? Like you said, this is something that keeps reoccurring. But predecessor-successor relationship is always strained. How do we see a more seamless one? We still see a political landscape where I'm leaving office, I would literally handpick the next person. No matter what anybody says, no matter what the political party says, I am the emperor. And because you are the emperor, it's only natural that you will still want to exert influence on what happens in the state. Moving forward, for our democracy's sake, how can we see less of what's going on right now?
Political maturity.
From which
I wrote
end?
a book last year titled "This Ship Must Not Sink: Resolving Nigeria's Issues."
One of these days you should share that
and
book.
I'll give you a copy when I leave
really
the studio. One of the chapters is titled "The Emperors Call Governors." The true or real enemies of the Nigeria fourth democracy, fourth republic democracy, are the emperors called governors. And you see, this gubernatorial rascality, which has been there from the outset, is one of the things that is killing this Nigeria or Nigerian politics. The governors have so much powers that even when they leave office, whatever appointments they hold, they would want to bring down that gubernatorial powers into it. That's one of the problems we are having in a lot of political parties, especially where you have former governors as party chairmen, where you have former governors as ministers, right? You go to that ministry and that former governor who is now minister would want to play not the role of an honorable minister, but the role of a headmaster, right? And sees every other person and talks to them and handles their affairs as though he's that headmaster who doles out instructions or dishes out instruction and speak to recalcitrant school children and all of that. That posture of a headmaster governor is what most of these people carry in and even out of office. And you must really be a very naturally humble person,
right,
to be able to tame the shrew in you.
So you talk about maturity, and my question is, who should go first? And are there no rules? I mean, where does the political party's influence end or begin when it comes to the excesses of these emperors you call governors, or governors you call emperors?
Unfortunately, in the Fourth Republic, unlike it was in the Second Republic, party chairmen or the leaders of the party become inferior, even in the party, to the governors or the president, as the case may be, who in the current constitutions of the various political parties stand as leaders of the party. Otherwise, ordinarily, it should be the party chairman that should be the leader of the party. And the party chairman can call Mr. President or Mr. Governor and say, this is not what is contained in our manifesto. This was not what we campaigned. This is not our political principle. This is what we campaigned upon. And this is what we told the people we will deliver. Please, this minister or this honorable commissioner is not doing well. This is how we want this government to run. But now you take the back seat. The governor and the president take the front seat. And you can advise the governor. You can advise the president. When you do, he sees you as not being loyal. And in politics, they say loyalty is 100%. It cannot be 99.9%. So that is exactly the problem. And a situation where those who run political parties are themselves wanting to pinch to eat from government. They want to get fat contracts from government. They want to also share certain boards of certain agencies and parastatals.
Exactly. And
the juicy ones for that matter. And they will still be answerable to the people they would have really guided. How do you expect them to do this? Because he who pays the piper, he takes the tune. Political parties don't raise money the way they are supposed to raise money and spend their money the way they are supposed to spend their money. The leader of the party, who is either the president or the governor or the senator, honorable member, depending on the constituency we are looking at here, is the one who funds the party. And because he funds the party, he wants to hold the 4 aces. That's really a major problem. But going forward, with discipline, with tolerance.
Discipline from the political parties, or discipline from
across Nigeria.
Because if there is nothing holding you to account, who would start this discipline? Where are the beautiful ones? Are they yet born?
The beautiful ones are born. They are all over us and all around us. But the problem is that the political process, the process of recruiting, again in that book I talked about the process of recruiting our leaders.
Right.
And that the process of recruiting our leaders in Nigeria can never throw up a good man as leader. And
even with our best intentions.
Even with our best intentions, the process of our recruitment of political leaders can never throw up our very best. At best, we can have those who are 35%, maybe 40%. We can't even have 45% of our best being in leadership.
You're talking about from primaries, from purchase of nomination forms. Right.
However it is so unfortunate. And that is why I propounded that the problem of Nigeria is what I call the 7 eyes. And until we solve the problem of the 7 eyes, we will never be able to solve Nigerian problems. And as soon as we solve the problem of the 7 eyes, Nigeria will be an El Dorado. And what are these 7 eyes?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
1, indiscipline. 2, insincerity. 3, impatience. 4, injustice. 5, intolerance. 6, impunity. 7, the I, me, myself, and I. These are, I have summarized the problems of Nigeria into these 7 eyes. And these 7 eyes are a wicked septuagenarian, a wicked septuplet, a set of 7 twins that has stunted the growth of their mother, this country called Nigeria. We must kill them before they kill Nigeria.
Okay, so let's move back to Rivers State, where a lot of drama is unfolding. And I would like to just start, if you were the current governor right now, Sim Fubara, being drawn from every end. I can imagine several advisors popping out of everywhere right now. So what would be your suggestion to him at the moment?
I think the man seemed to be having the best of pieces of advice.
I can imagine.
I can assure you, political strategists from across the world are calling him on daily basis or hourly basis to give him strategies. He's a governor and a member of the Nigerian Governors Forum. He has friends in the forum who are both APC, PDP, and Labour Party.
Some of whom do may not even agree with his predecessor.
A lot of them also are advising him. He has a lot of Nigerians also who have been former governors who are also advising him. There are a lot of people that do not think that what is happening to Sim Fubara is right. They are also availing him the advice. Most of all of these pro bono, free of charge. I strongly believe what the governor should do now is to be calm. What the governor should do now is to be calm, so that he will maintain a clear head and put his right foot
forward.
Right. He has to put his right foot Right.
And that would be what?
Because for now, he has the advantage over the Honorable Minister of the FCT. Why? Because he's a sitting governor. And the way the things are happening against him and to him seem to be making him gain a lot of sympathizers.
Exactly.
And when it happened the last time, we saw, I didn't like that the sitting governor, he does not represent Sim Fubara as a person. He represents Rivers State
exactly.
as a component federating unit of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There are only 36 of them, the federating units, and he represents one of the federating units of Nigeria. He shouldn't be treated that way. Security agencies shouldn't have tear-gassed a governor and all of that. The governor now should just ensure that he consolidates. Unfortunately, it's like His Excellency Nyesom Wike is gradually losing out, and you do not expect him not to fight back. He will continue to fight back, maybe so that he can get soft landing somehow. But I think he will laugh best. And if you ask me, if you ask me, my head and my heart tells me that Sim Fubara will laugh last. Or laugh best.
And for the 25 defected lawmakers, State House of Assembly members, what would be your advice to this? They started this impeachment plot, and I think it all started with that impeachment plot, and then the fire incident, and we're seeing over and over the ripple effect of it all.
Political history makes me remember the Battle of Waterloo, where Napoleon Bonaparte, the strong Napoleon Bonaparte, lost out. I strongly also feel now that this is their Waterloo.
Do you think they can do a turnaround? I mean, to have?
It's a bit too late.
A bit too late?
Yes. It's a bit too late. Why is it a bit too late? When the two who tagged along with them saw the light, or saw the handwriting on the wall rather, and quickly stepped back, that would have been the time they would have done that. They didn't do that. That motion had been moved. The gavel had gone.
Right.
That is the symbol of authority of the house. The house has its rules. As the court says, it is a he that is the presiding officer of that house. And I'm also told that he has the real mace, the authentic mace of the Rivers State House of Assembly. So, what has happened, or what happened at the Rivers State House of Assembly a few days ago was correct. They can only go and fight it in court, and
to the Honorable Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the FCT, what would be your advice to him? A lot of people are pointing fingers to him, although nothing has directly been said to him by the current governor. And you were talking about the fact that he probably needed it. He needs a structure to be a powerful politician. You need a structure. And we also know that he probably has presidential ambition, and here he is in the FCT, an opportunity to build that structure. What would be your thoughts, your last thoughts on this?
If there is one Nigerian politician I love, is Barrister Nyesom Wike. If there is one leader in Nigeria that has defied a lot of theories of bad leadership in Nigeria, is Nyesom Wike.
However,
popularly referred to as Mr. Project. If he goes into governance, whatever he touches his hands in, he does it well.
Right. However,
he did well in Rivers State. In just 4 months or thereabout, maybe less, as Honorable Minister of the FCT, we are seeing in the FCT what we never saw in the last about 12 years. You will agree with me that in the last 8 years, there was no minister in FCT.
Well,
there was no minister in FCT. If there was, he only existed as a nomenclature. We never saw him. We never knew him. We didn't see his actions. We didn't see his activities. We never knew his policies. Towards the end of his administration, he started building public toilets. But Nyesom Wike came and hit the ground running, in the true sense of hitting the ground running from the first day. And there is a total turnaround in the FCT. Abandoned projects of several years are being revived.
Just from
those who used to sit in Abuja and sit at ease, it used to be, and now on their toes. He gave marching orders to the civil servants, the bureaucrats, who are working with him to ensure the right thing is done.
Exactly.
And the right thing is being done. For God's sake, Abuja is the capital city of Nigeria, and it should reflect that status in every aspect of the FCT. And we are seeing a greater than El Rufai in the FCT. I will advise my mentor, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, to forget River State and concentrate on the FCT. Let his good work that spoke for him in River State speak for him again, as he's going to replicate and do more in the FCT. Wike is a national brand, and if you ask me, we would see him from that point of view. And if he has presidential ambition, people will look at him based on what he did and support him.
Right.
But he should concentrate on the work, enormous work that he has in the FCT. The FCT had become something else. It is only a Wike that can do the cleansing that he is doing in the FCT.
Well, your advice has gone round. I think we have reached everyone that has to. I hope they really hear that. But thank you so much, AK Peters, for coming and discussing this very important trending issue in your state. Thank you for coming. Right.
It's a pleasure. Thanks a lot. Thanks very much.
So this is where we draw the curtains on Joy Asonye Live. We'll be back tomorrow with so much more. I hope you have learned a thing or two and seen how he has explained what's going on in Rivers State. I hope I sue for peace, just like a lot of Nigerians are doing at the moment. But we see how it turns out. Have a wonderful evening. My name is Joy Asonye.